everybody. It's Wednesday. Take 2. How we doing? Let's see if I can get it up on the screen. Boom, boom. There we go. Hello again. Sorry about that. We're trying to get the new set all combobulated, and we missed a wire. But this, I think it's going to work now. Much better, yes. Sorry about that. I realized it as soon as I looked over and I saw that the wire was missing. But we are getting recombobulated. My stage is more sturdy, that's for sure. Jennifer! Kelly! You were watching the wrong Wednesday a little while ago, but hey, good for you to tune in. Catch up. Great to have you all here this Wednesday night. It is Hump Day. Hey, Adele and Dazzle. Laura, missed you. Cheers to you, although I don't have anything but water tonight. All I got is water tonight, Laura. Sorry. But still, cheers. I will cheers my water to you. Good to have you all here tonight. What are you grateful for this Wednesday night? It is Wednesday night. It is Hump Day. What are you grateful for this Wednesday night? Tell me about your Wednesday and what you are grateful for. Grateful for having the opportunity to talk to so many of you tonight. Hey, Krita, great to have you here. Great to have you all here. But tell me about your Wednesday. What is it that's making you grateful for this Wednesday? We need to know. The world wants to know. I certainly want to know. I'm feeling good this Wednesday. I was up early, though. I was up before the dog today. I was up before Max. It's a roller coaster, Krita. I'm glad you had a great day today, but it is a roller coaster. You know, we're in the long game here. Well, hey, you know, that makes tomorrow's sales even better. I'm sorry that the weather was poopy. That is a new quote. I can tell Adele is going to look up what poopy weather is. But I am glad you got some great consignments in. We've been seeing a great inflow. I mean, our incoming has been strong, and that's great. I'm excited about the level of incoming we've got going on. It's heavy, but it's good. You know, it's all about the people you surround yourself, Kelly, with, and it's not easy in business. It's not easy in life, and a good life is the culmination of the good people that you surround yourself with, and that you spread your joy with. I mean, that is a well-lived life. It's all about people. It's all about community, your community of people, your circle. And I can't say that enough. And I can't say that I always understood that. I can't say that I always understood it. But looking back, the more I look back, the more I'm able to look forward in how important that is, your circle. And it's, it's not all about money. It's not about anything. It's just, it's your circle. Hey, Eric's out from behind the curtain fully. That's like a full comment, Eric. You're out from behind the curtain. Great to have you here live tonight, Eric. And Kitty, it was great talking with you today. I loved catching up with you as I drove today. I've talked to a lot of people. Cassandra's like, you must have been on the phone the whole way home, because my afternoon snack bag, she had my bag of snacks that she had. She's like, you didn't eat anything. And I'm like, well, I even took it with me. We're swapping cars. I've got multiple cars in for service this week, and we swap them. So they give me a loaner, and then I just take one after another into Lexus for service. And so I got home, I picked up one, dropped off, went down to Lexus, dropped it off, and I was on the phone all the way to, from, back, and I didn't eat anything. I guess that's good for my waistline, right? Hey, Joanne, Patty, great to have you all here. Well, I'm going to go deep tonight. You guys must know it because that's why you're all here. So let's get into the Good Morning, Good Night book. I'm still getting used to this new set, so I didn't even know where my glasses and my book are, and it changed. My set's changed from last night. They got a new stand for the camera and everything. Hey, Michelle is here live. Great to have you here, Michelle. And so I'm getting used to where everything is. But we start every night with the Good Morning, Good Night book. The Good Morning, Good Night book is how we start this program every night. And tonight we start on page 86. Good morning. I'm tired. I bet you're tired. But we're awake and alive. That's enough. Come on. Come on. Good morning. That is our good morning today. And I am a little tired. It's been a long day. I was, I was up before the dog this morning. I was up and the dog looked at me and rolled over, and then a little while later decided to, hey, maybe he's got treats. I'll follow him. Well, let's start off with something fun here today. Do you know what today is besides Hump Day? Today. Hey, Michelle's taking in the new set. Today is National Rubber Ducky Day. National Rubber Ducky Day. The rubber ducky, okay, became infamous starting in 1970, okay, when Ernie first sang the Rubber Ducky song. It was first aired in 1970. The song, actually, the Rubber Ducky song, okay? Rubber Ducky, you're the one. You make bath time lots of fun. Rubber Ducky, I'm awfully fond of you. That song, sung by Jim Henson, and I am doing it no justice here tonight. We know that, okay? We know I'm not supposed to sing on the show, okay? Actually hit number 16 on the top 100 chart, okay? Number 16, Rubber Ducky. Okay, what were people doing in 1970 that Rubber Ducky made it to number 16? Okay, but today is viewed as the birthday, okay, the birthday of the rubber duck, because this is when he was introduced on Sesame Street, when Ernie introduced his friend, the Rubber Ducky. So, the Rubber Ducky stretches far earlier than that. There's sightings of Rubber Ducky talks in the 1800s. In 1928, Landon Smart Lawrence received the earliest patent for a rubber duck toy. His clever design weighted the toy so when it tipped, it returned to an upright position. And in the 40s, during World War II, the duck began getting produced in vinyl and plastic. So, there you go. You gotta have the rubber ducky. I mean, it just, a rubber ducky makes you smile. I don't care how old you are, but a rubber ducky makes you smile. I'm just saying. Smiling is good. They were doing mushrooms. Okay. Okay. Well, okay, are you guys got your notepads ready? I'm told this is a notepad night. I'm told that this is a night that you're going to take notes and follow me. Follow what I'm talking about. I practiced this earlier on Kitty. Kitty was my test subject today for what I'm going to talk about tonight. And so get your notepads ready. The first and before I get into the deep topic tonight, we are going to talk briefly about the PPP. Very briefly on the PPP tonight. And the reason we need to talk about the PPP is because the SBA just announced, just as I was coming on air, breaking news, just as I was coming on air. I mean, really, I literally got this just as I came on air. Well, I'm going to have to come to Michelle's anniversary celebration to get little rubber ducky at Michelle's Hybrid Fashion. You hear that? You can all get your free rubber ducky at Michelle's Hybrid Fashion on her anniversary sale. But breaking news, so the PPP has announced that on Friday, lenders with $1 billion or less in assets will be able to submit applications for both first and second draw loans. That's not most of your banks. That's some really, really small community banks, some farm banks, things of that nature. Next Tuesday, less than a week away, the PPP will open to all lenders for both first and second draw loans. So the PPP officially is open next Tuesday for all first and second draw loans, keeping in mind that Monday is a holiday, so not really a banking day on Monday. So on Tuesday, the June 5th, a party at Michelle's. June 5th, a party at Michelle's. So on Tuesday, January 19th, my nephew's birthday, my eldest nephew's birthday. My eldest nephew? The father of my great nephew. How's that? On Adam's birthday is the opening of Joanne and Michelle, so I got to be in Chicago and Virginia on the same day. I don't know that I'm good, but that's I'm doing that on a map. That's going to be tough. Well, I'm excited for June 5th, but I'm even more excited for January 19th when all of your banks will be able to accept second round PPP applications. Second round PPP applications and first round applications. If you have never gotten a PPP, again, apply. Most of you that did not get a PPP the first time did not get one because your PPP was very close or near the amount of your idle advance. Your idle advance is now just a grant, okay? No matter what, if you get a PPP or not. So that stays a grant even if you get a PPP. So if you did not apply for a PPP before because you got the idle advance, now is your time. Apply for a PPP. Get ready. Get with your lender. Next Tuesday, the PPP window opens for all banks. All banks open next Tuesday. So I want you all in line for that and all your ducks in a row. Get your ducks in a row. Okay, I want to see your ducks lined up. I want to see all your ducks in a row to get another PPP. I want you to have your share. I want you to be able to continue to grow your way out of this. Continue to grow your way out of this. Everybody to grow your way out of this. I even thought of Joanne's friend, the therapist, physical therapist that Bernadette? Yeah. today. I don't know why she came to mind today when I was talking to somebody else, but she came to mind today. But we want to help everybody get to the other side of this. Everybody get to the other side. So PPP Tuesday! Woo! Okay, so first thing we're going to talk about, hang on a second, I want to have my, so the change, so one of the things, so we're going to talk about the employee retention tax credit tonight. Bernadette, say I got the name right. I was going with Cayman or something. Isn't that her practice? I'm really stretching here. Names is not my thing. Yes, and wait, there's even more help coming for people like you in Virginia, Michelle. Tonight, you got your notebook there. I know you do. It's right on the other side of your glass of wine. Okay, so get your notebook ready. There's a lot to cover tonight. So if you have not if you have followed my lessons, okay, and you have not applied for PPP forgiveness yet, unless your PPP loan was over $150,000, okay, one of the things you need to think about for what we're going to talk about tonight is how quickly, wow, I'm a whole name there, I got that. Wow, Joanne. Yes, if your bank has already taken your second draw application, they can't turn it into the SBA till Tuesday. But many banks were getting ahead of the game and taking them early to be ready to drop them in the SBA's hand on Tuesday so that you're first in line for the money. So that's fine. That is fine. Okay. The thing I'm trying to get to tonight is the employee retention tax credit. Okay, but for the employee retention tax credit, originally you could not get the employee retention tax credit if you got a PPP. Now you can. Many people you got to keep in mind, some of us that got it really early, got a PPP really early, rushed to spend it in 8 weeks because that was the rules at the time. It then changed in early June and they allowed your spend to go up over 24 weeks. Okay, so you could spend it over 8 or 24. The rules changed at the end of December that said you could spend it anywhere between 8 and 24. Okay, one of the keys to being able to take full advantage of the employee retention tax credit is no duplication of benefits. Duplication of benefits are you can't collect 2 things for payroll at the same time. So if you have not filed for forgiveness, you have the time to figure out how you spent it to be in compliance with a maximum employee retention tax credit. The faster you spent your PPP allows you to get a bigger employee retention tax credit. So you're going to want to be able to maximize that. You're going to want to maximize how quickly you spent your PPP by going back over your books, going over all the eligible costs, okay, because the things that you could spend your PPP on have changed. Okay, the rules have changed and they apply to you even though you got it many, many months ago. So that is my first thing I'm going to go over tonight is what are your eligible costs. Again, you had to spend 60% on payroll, 60% of your PPP on payroll, and you could spend 40% on other things. So let's talk about that for a minute. Okay, what are payroll costs? Okay, payroll costs include employee compensation, salary, wages, commissions, up to an annualized compensation of $100,000. It also includes payment for group benefits, health, vision, dental, life, disability, including insurance premiums, retirement benefits, and state and local payroll taxes, not federal taxes, state and local payroll taxes. Compensation above $100,000, federal taxes, compensation to non-U.S. employees, which you don't have, are excluded. You're allowed to spend it on mortgage interest. You're allowed to spend it on rent, okay, and utilities. Utilities include things like lights, power, water, telephone, internet, cell phone. All those count as utilities. This counts as the 40% part. You are also now allowed to spend the money on anything that an existing SBA loan, a normal SBA loan, would allow you to spend it on. Example, inventory, supplies, improvements to your building if you own your building. You're allowed to spend it on interest on other obligations. As long as the debt that you are paying interest on for other obligations existed before February 15th. You're allowed to pay operations costs such as software, cloud computing services, if you're on a cloud service like Traxia or Liberty Cloud, or you have their backup services. You're allowed to pay for supplier costs and worker protection costs, such as adapting the business and complying with federal or state local guidelines for safety requirements for COVID. So buying masks, putting up plexiglass, any of those things are allowed expenses under the PPP. Yes, keeping it simple is important, because remember, I want you, hang on a second, I need a prop. I have one handy. I want you to have a file folder, okay? Because ultimately, you're going to make a lot of representations, okay? You're going to make representations by signing your name and saying, hey, yup, I used the money correctly. And that's great, because I want it to be simple now. But all of the representations you make when you hold up your hand and you sign under pains and penalties of perjury, which would be severe, okay, are subject to audit, okay? The majority of you are not going to get audited, but we're all honest people, but time diminishes the memory. Time diminishes the memory. Okay, and so you're going to create a file of all the things you did with this money. Any of the money you get. Any of the money you get. So you're going to keep in here in this file so that if they call up and say, hey, Michelle, we're auditing you, you'll be like, who cares? Come on over anytime. I got my glass of wine next door, and I'm going to do a live video while you do your audit because I got my file that Neil told me to have. Okay, so yes, keeping it as simple as possible. If you can spend the other 40% on rent, spend it on rent. Keeping it as simple as possible. So use your biggest expenses to keep it as simple and clear cut as possible. That's what you want. You want to make it really simple for an auditor. You don't want them to have to think. If they open this file and it's really, oh wow, you pay that much in rent? These are the people you employed during that time, and this is what you paid them? Great. Thank you very much. Well, shoot, I don't know what I'm going to do with my other half a day. I blocked out a half a day for this, but I'm a government employee, so it doesn't matter. I can go shopping now. What wonderful things do you have for me to buy? So that is what you're creating this file for, okay? And making it really simple, because you're talking 2 years down the road where nobody's going to remember what the initials PPP mean or ERTC or any of this stuff. But you're going to be like, I know I have that file somewhere, and you're going to make that file, and that way it's going to make it very easy if you were the one that gets audited. Someone in this group will get audited. Someone that tunes in every night will get audited. Not because the government's watching this show and tuning in all night, although we know Steve Mnuchin and Jovita at SBA tune in, just to see what I'm saying. And Nancy Pelosi, I bet you she's a closet watcher of the program. But, Janet Yellen could be watching, our new Treasury Secretary that's coming in. But they aren't auditing you for the sake. It's just it's a numbers game. They're going to audit so many of these loans, and just the number of people that tune in, the odds are pretty safe for me to say that someone here will get audited. Okay, and we'll help through that too. No, I'm not saying that the computer services, the interest on other obligations, the other obligations have to be, if you're paying interest on things, on a loan with the proceeds, have to have been in existence before February 15th. You could have computer services, you could have moved to the cloud or had computer services any time during your PPP and pay it. Okay? It's really opened up that 40% to be just about anything. Okay, you can't lobby government with it. You can't pay off a politician with it. You can't donate it actually. But other than that, it is a pretty wide open door now of things that you can spend that money on for that 40%. But again, keep it to the big stuff if you can. But I want you to have, the idea is I want you to have the payroll portion as small as possible, as close to the 60% as possible. I'd like you a little over 60% just because you guys aren't pink calculator people. You're pink calculator followers, and I appreciate it. But you're not there crunching numbers all the time. So I'd rather have you be a little bit over, maybe 61, 62% payroll, and 38% everything else if we can do it. But yes, but at least 60% to payroll. If you can do a little over, but in the real key is short period of time. I don't want you much over the 8 weeks, and that's because I want you to get the maximum benefit from other things. I mean, I was talking to one accountant today, and he's like, well, once they changed the rule of 24 weeks, I put all my clients on 24-week payback. And I'm like, no! And I was sitting with one of his clients, and I was like, no. And I'm like, the client I'm sitting with, I know spent it because I worked with them, and they had it was a restaurant that had a decent takeout business going, and was bucking the trend. They made dinner tonight, by the way, which made Cassandra happy that I came home with dinner. But that was the way this accountant had told everybody, and I'm like, no, and I'm like, that doesn't help. It could help in some circumstances, but in most circumstances, for the benefits that exist today, the shorter the period, the better. And that's what I'm getting at. So we want the shortest period. It can be, if you can get it within 8 weeks, that's perfect. If it needs to be just over 8 weeks, that's okay. For those of you that got the loan early, what I really want to do is to keep it simple, get it all in the second quarter, have your payroll spend done. Because originally, this all had to be done by June 30th. Your spend, everything else. If you go back to the original rules, all the things were by June 30th. So a lot of us that were following the first rules, we're really rushing to spend it and spent a lot of money quickly, out the door quickly with it. But that is what I wanted to talk about with that. I lost my glasses. I'm not going to be able to read anything. Okay, I got them. Okay, so now we're gonna let's flip the page on your notepad. Flip the page. Turn the page. That is the best time. Michelle is asking, we begin calculating your time frame on the day the PPP went into the account. You're allowed to calculate either the day the PPP went in your account. You're able to either use that date, which is the easier date, okay, that is the easiest date, or the beginning of your next pay period. Your choice, whichever benefits you more. So either the day that the money went in your account or the beginning of your next pay period. Whichever one you want, whichever one benefits you the most is the start of your calculation. And that is fine for the PPP. But, you know, just work on a quick spend. And most of you under the new rules will find that you spent it faster than you thought you did. Okay? Because you're able to apply these rules even though you spent it, even though you may have put it into an account that you didn't pay rent out of because you stretched out using it for payroll for a longer period of time. Okay? But under the rules, you didn't have to spend it out of that account. Under the rules, you can do all these things that I am talking about. I am all for two things. One, playing by the rules with this, because I do not want anybody to be under pains and penalties of perjury, to feel the pains and penalties of perjury, which are severe. And I want you to maximize the benefit to you and your company. I want your company to be as healthy and strong as it can be through maximizing its benefits. Those are my two goals here, and I'm walking you right through it. So now we're going to move into the Employee Retention Tax Credit. Are you ready? Did you start a new page? The Employee Retention Tax Credit, also known as the ERTC, ERTC. That's the, you know, you got to go with government acronyms. The ERTC, the Employee Retention Tax Credit. And I think tonight we're just going to deal with 2020. I don't know that we're going to be able to get to 2021. It's already getting late here. In 2020, okay, again, duplication of benefits. Okay, originally you were not allowed to have both. Now you are. But you are not allowed to have them for the same time periods. You can't claim the Employee Retention Tax Credit at the same time you're claiming you were using the PPP. Cannot do it. No. No. This is like a Discover commercial. No. 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 No way. The Employee Retention Tax Credit, okay, is based on quarters. It can be based on partial quarters, but it's easiest, the closer we get to a full quarter, the easier it is to implement. What is the Employee Retention Tax Credit? The Employee Retention Tax Credit for 2020 is a credit. And when I say credit, I mean cash. Cash money in your bank account. Okay? The Employee Retention Tax Credit is a credit of half of the first $10,000 in payroll to an employee paid with non-PPP funds or non-other funds that were granted for payroll if you got a state grant that was only for payroll, for example. So half of the first $10,000 that you pay employees, okay, with non-PPP money. So for many of you, that'll be the second half of the year. Okay, half of the first $10,000 per employee. It is employee-based per employee. Okay, so the employee that didn't work out, okay, that you thought was going to be a superstar and only worked 2 weeks and dumped out, and you paid them $300, you're eligible for half of that back from the government. They call it a credit, but it is cash money. Cash money. Okay. So how are you eligible for that? You aren't automatically eligible. There are two criteria. So is everybody with me on that? You can get, in 2020, you can get half of the first $10,000 after March 12th, or March 17th, excuse me, after March 17th, or March 12th, doesn't matter, of non-PPP money. Most of you people laid off people till you got the PPP, and then you use PPP money. So we're really talking about third and fourth quarter for most of you, okay? But half of the first $10,000 spent in the second half of the year on each employee spent with non-PPP money. Now, how does one qualify for that? Funny you should ask. That is a very good question. There are two methods for qualifications to qualify for the employee retention tax credit under the new rules. You qualify for the employee retention tax credit if you are down 50% or more in a quarter. Okay, so if in quarter 3 you are down 50% or more, you qualify for the employee retention tax credit. There is some weird math, and I will work with anybody in a specific situation that doesn't qualify for option number 2, where you can take a quarter that was down and apply it to a future quarter. I'll deal with it on a case-by-case basis rather than dealing with it in the show, because it'll just confuse everything. So that is option number 1. If you are down 50% or more, you qualify. Okay? Option number 2, 5-0. That's 5-0. I'm not real good at doing animal figures. 5-0. 50%. Okay, in 2020, if you're down 50% in any quarter, you qualify for it. That is option number 1. Okay, and that's what the law was originally written about. The second and more Michelle-like option, because Michelle has been hustling. Have you seen her live videos? Have you seen Kelly going? Okay, option number 2. Okay, the other. Wait for option number 2, Kelly. Wait for option number 2, because option number 2 is going to be much more to your liking. Option number 2 is your business is restricted by a government order. Okay? What does Neil mean by a government order? Okay? Well, for example, in Massachusetts, we are currently restricted to 25% occupancy. We have actually been restricted since March. March 22nd, 20-something, we have been under complete business restrictions since then, continually. We were allowed to reopen in June with 50% occupancy. That restricted our occupancy to 50%. Okay? Has nothing to do with what your sales are. It has nothing to do with the hustle we have made to make online sales and close our gap. It has nothing to do with that home decor is selling where clothing isn't. Has nothing to do with sales. Just has to do with complying. In order to comply, your business is restricted from operating at in its normal form and fashion. If your business is restricted from operating in its normal form and fashion, like I know Illinois is, like I know Virginia, Michelle in Virginia has been, like I know Kelly in Albuquerque is, okay, like I know Massachusetts is, okay, and will continue to be for the foreseeable future, then you qualify. You qualify for the credit just based on that. Sales is irrelevant. Well, why didn't you lead with that, Neil? Well, because I wanted to tell you the way the law was written, because understanding how the law was originally written, this is the problem with most accountants. Most accountants understand it the way things were originally written. Most accountants have not read the 5,593-page law. There can be some local things. There can be some special things with you. I got to sit and talk with Brad, Jennifer. Right. The southern states are really did not have restrictions in place or any restrictions in place make it hard. I'm guessing, Kelly, you had that there was still some minor restriction on your activities. Okay, you may have only been 75% occupancy or 80% occupancy. I highly doubt you were at 100% then. You don't have to prove the restriction. It's on the government. It's subject to audit. Okay, but the state websites are have kept everything in line with all their rulings. All the government rulings are a matter of record. So you should be able to pull up on record. But I know Virginia. I know just from doing this show, okay, what you've had going on. And you know, Kelly, you had the actual second shutdown. Okay, you had legitimately a second shutdown. Okay, I know what the occupancy restrictions are in Illinois. I know what they are here. So they usually announce it, and you can find it right on your state's website, all the different things, as long as it affected retail. And I believe I actually may have a whole country list of this. I will check tomorrow with my friends at the National Retail Federation. I believe their map is still updated that I have access to that lists this all out by state. So the key is having state restrictions. If you have the state restrictions in place, you qualify. So that means, you know, you're going to get up to $5,000 back on the first $10,000 per employee spent with non-PPP money in the second half of the year. That's huge. What's more is there's an expedited process to get that money back. You get this money by filing amended 941 returns, and we'll go into that in more detail tomorrow night, okay? Because there's only so much you gotta digest. You gotta digest. So you file amended quarterly returns. Not bad for a Jewish guy, huh, Michelle? You get this by filing 941s and an expedited form to the IRS saying, hey, you owe me money. I want it now. And they will pay you that within 30 days. I will go over the details of those forms tomorrow. Okay, we will start digging into the details of that tomorrow. But we had to take the first step and get this over. So the two ways you get it is either being down 50%, okay, or by being under government restriction where you can't operate at 100%, even if you've made up sales in other areas, okay? Some of you have done phenomenal. Some of you are under government restriction and have home decor selling like wildfire. Or your live videos are selling, you know, way more than you did in person before. It doesn't, the sales factor, if you meet the government restriction part, you do not have to meet the sales threshold of the dropped sales. So this is a blessing to you. And it continues on in 2021 for the first half of the year, but it actually gets better. And we'll go over that tomorrow night. So we'll start tomorrow night by going over what's better, what changes in 2021, what questions you have. You'll miss it live, Michelle, but I know you'll watch the replay. I know you'll watch the replay tomorrow night. And actually, I'll probably be late tomorrow, just a guess, because we're going to not a winter light show. Not a holiday light show, but a winter light show. Six Flags is trying to make money. Six Flags New England is trying to make some money, and they're having a winter light show. And so we are going to that tomorrow night as a family event. Tomorrow. So I will probably be late. I think we had to buy timed tickets. I think we have 6:30 tickets. But you know, But I will definitely be live, not from Six Flags, but it's a drive-through winter light show. No, don't shorten your show for me, Michelle. I want you to do the full show. I want your people to get full you. Do not shorten your show to watch me. No. I will still rain money on you. I will still help you through this. But do not shorten your show because of me, Michelle. Yeah, Joanne, I think Michelle's Thirsty Thursday show sounds like fun too. I think she should be asking everybody what wine they're drinking tonight. I think, bring that up as conversation. But do not. I will be mad at you if you cut your show short to tune into me, especially when I won't be on time anyways, probably tomorrow night, because of what we're doing. I think Rebecca and Cassandra are making snacks and hot cocoa and all sorts of stuff. So we're going to drive through that. I've got to close tomorrow night because we're short-staffed, so I got to hustle. But that's what I do. I can drive the speed limit-ish. I can drive this. I can drive. Let's not even go there. Let's not even go there. But we will cover that. We will cover what is better in 2021, okay, because many of you are still under government restrictions. And I know we are. I know Illinois is. I know New Mexico is. So we're under these restrictions. So it gets better in 2021. But again, the PPP spend comes into play there. So that's again why we need to spend the PPP part on payroll very fast, so that you can maximize the employee retention tax credit. Because I want you to maximize everything. It's all this blessing, okay, is eventually going to stop. Okay, I know. President-elect Biden is talking about more stimulus, everything else, and I would love for them to really continue to juice the economy. I'm not sure what's going to get through Congress at this point, so let's bank on what we know versus what we hope for. So let's make as much hay with what we do know to get us through. Because these are the sure things. These are the things we know and will be happening. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. You know what else you can count on is this video getting over to narts.org/resalestrong by noon the very next day. Noon, I tell you. This video, everything I talk about goes over to narts.org/resalestrong by noon the very next day. Adele and Cassandra are the magic behind all that. They make it happen. Cassandra and Rebecca decorated this whole set. I just show up. I'm just the on-air guy who can't shut up. But all of it's over there at narts.org/resalestrong, including a direct link to the YouTube channel. You're not alone running this store. You're not alone. Where you can like, comment, subscribe, and ring the bell so you know when a new one drops. That is where you find it. It's also where you share narts.org/resalestrong with everybody you know in business. Everybody, so we can help everybody get across the finish line. We want to help everybody get to the other side of this. Butcher, baker, candlestick maker, we're taking everybody to the other side. Don't worry about it, Kelly. Don't worry about it. We're gonna maximize your stuff. Don't overthink this tonight. Do not overthink this tonight. You can have part PPP and part employee retention tax credit in the same quarter. There's just more math. There's just more math. You can have both in the same quarter. Part of it is if you need it and where you maximize it. So it can all be done. There's just more math to it. It's cleaner when it's in separate quarters, but it doesn't mean you can't do it. Okay? Because there's roughly 13 weeks in a quarter, and there's 8 weeks to spend your PPP plus or minus a little bit. But we'll play with it. Don't worry about it. Take deep breaths. Remember, we're breathing in this, folks. Breathing. Breathing. Okay? Don't worry. Don't worry. Be happy. Rubber ducky, you're the one. Remember the Rubber Ducky song. I am here every night at More 8 Than Ish, live in the Nards private Facebook group. That is where you'll find me. That is where you'll find me every night. If you have a question in between, you just email me. You know the email, Neil, Neil at ECIstores.com. Neil at ECIstores.com is where you find me. All right. Michelle is putting together her simple file tonight. I love you, Michelle. Love you. Ladies and gentlemen, we start this program every night with the Good Morning, Good Night book. The Good Morning, Good Night book is where we start this program every night. Tonight is no different. Tonight we're on page 86. Good morning. I'm tired. I bet after listening to me, you're tired. But we're awake and alive, and that's enough. Come on, come on. Our good night tonight is good night. I'm tired. I bet you're tired. But we're awake and alive, and that's enough. Come on, come on. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Neil Abrams, and I do like a good party, a wedding, a bar mitzvah. Something with cake. I like cake. Don't you like cake? Everything's better with cake. Yes, it is. Well, I don't know when we're going to be able to party again in person, but when we can, I will be there with you. You can count on that. Until then, and until tomorrow night at More 8 Than Ish, know that you, and you, but most especially you, yes, you're not alone running this store. Have a great night, everybody. It's time for cake. I'll see you tomorrow.